You are listening to the Disney Dream Girls, an unofficial Disney Theme Parks podcast. And this is show number 495 for Sunday, the 24th of March, 2024.
Where dreams begin.
Hello and welcome to this week's Disney Dream Girls. My name is Michelle Young, and together with my jolly good chum Jane Phipps, we are your guides to the place where dreams begin. Hello there, Jane, and we're nearly at Easter.
I know, we're in spring now, aren't we?
Well, spring has supposedly sprung.
Can somebody tell the British weather, please?
Yeah.
Although, to be fair, Michelle, I'm where I'm sat at the moment, I am looking at daffodils, so that's quite spring-like, isn't it?
It is. I'm going to be
There you
making
go.
some Easter eggs at the weekend.
Oh, that's brave of you.
No, it's easy peasy. All I need to do is make the shell. I've got the moulds and I'm going to go and get the vegan chocolate for Kieran, melt it down and coat the shell, and then they'll keep in the fridge for a while, and then I'm going to make a little sort of dessert in it for him because he's coming over as a belated birthday in a couple of weeks. So I thought, that'd be a really nice thing to show. You know, I've gone out of my way to include his veganism. You know, he is the person that Disney are catering for in all of these food booths. And
True.
yeah, we're going to have a weekend of vegan food because we're going to a vegan food festival.
Wow. So you could be doing your own little food booth for Epcot then, Michelle, the way you're going.
Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take some bacon just to sprinkle on top of the food to make it more palatable for me.
Oh, naughty.
Kidding. Kudos to him though, because he has stuck to it. I admire his principles. It's not something that I personally would ever consider, but good for him for being principled and changing his lifestyle to suit him.
Absolutely.
And he doesn't try and stick it down my throat at every opportunity, which is good.
Which is even better, yeah.
So, we have some news, Jane, on this
We do.
day in history type
Ooh.
news. And I've done it this week, which is a whole new change, and I hope I don't fluff it up.
No, I'm excited now because I've not even looked. I've done no research this week, so this is going to be all news for me as well.
I have got a trio of goodies for you.
Oh,
On the 24th of March 1956 saw the opening of the Astrojets at the Disneyland Resort. They actually closed in 1966 and were replaced by the Astro Orbiter.
wow, that's one of those rides that I know I've not done at Disneyland that I always thought I hadn't done at Disney World until I found a photo of myself on them.
Yeah. I've actually done it twice at Disneyland, so for that type of attraction, I think I'm doing pretty good.
Not bad at all, yeah.
Another one from this day, and this is for all you Country Bear fans. On the 24th of March 1972, the Country Bear Jamboree opened in Bear Country at Disneyland. The Walt Disney World
Yay.
version had opened previously in October 1971.
Nice for something to have opened in Magic Kingdom first and made its way over to the West Coast rather than
makes a
vice
change.
versa. Yeah.
Yeah. March 24th, 1986. Now, this is going to make some of us feel incredibly old.
Oh,
because
here we go.
I'm going to be talking about VHS video. Now, for our younger listeners, ask your parents what a video is.
Yeah, and then don't even mention that there was two forms. It was either VHS or Betamax.
Did you go team VHS or Betamax, Jane?
We were VHS.
We were VHS too. Don't you feel utterly smug just because your parents bought a VHS machine rather than Betamax? I remember being at school, and if your parents chose Betamax, it was like you were being outcast.
But the irony of it all, Michelle, is that apparently Betamax was actually the better quality version.
Yeah.
But VHS won out. I remember my uncle actually had a Betamax machine and exactly the same scenario. But yeah, VHS made it, and yeah, that was the way, wasn't it, back in the 80s? We had no internet, we had no streaming services, we had to go to the video shop.
Absolutely. So, back on this day, 24th of March 1986, The Sword and the Stone became the fourth Disney classic to be released on video. And it was that series, wasn't it, of Walt Disney Classics?
Classics, yeah. I did have a few of those on VHS. I think a lot of them have now been replaced, and I don't own any VHS anymore. But yeah, I think I have those now on probably DVD, I would think.
Well, admission time. In the eaves of my house, which has the most amazing amount of storage, I actually have several boxes of all my VHS videos from Disney. In there are 2 copies of Song of the South.
Oh, now they're a rare find, Michelle. Hold on to them.
I know, and I've got 2. I don't know how I bought 2.
Well, if you feel like, sharing.
Shh.
I know that word. I know. At least it's not food I'm asking you to share.
True. Okay, so what we're going to do today is we have got a bumper feature to discuss with you, and we'll see what else we fit into the show, and what we don't cram in, we're going to do an after show exclusively for our Patreon supporters, where they get the fullest of release of the Disney Dreamgirls for this show. If you want to get that, why not pop on over to patreon.com/Disney Dreamgirls and support us for a few dollars each month, and you can get your hands on not just this extra episode we will be recording, but all past ones as well. Right, Jane. I'm from Yorkshire. I may have mentioned this once or twice.
Maybe, yeah.
I am very frugal with my spendage.
Careful, Michelle. Careful is the word.
Careful. I like to make sure that I get good value for money. Now, sometimes there's no logic in this. Sometimes I can persuade my head that yes, it is good value to spend an extortionate amount of money on a handbag. And then sometimes I can look at say, for example, a pre-prepared meal and say, £6.50, I'm not paying that. So, yeah, just bear in mind, sometimes my reality is a little bit skewed.
Yeah, well, it depends how nice the thing is that we're looking at, isn't it?
Absolutely. Like if you're going to talk to yourself about getting on a Disney cruise, for example, I will talk myself round to the price point and the amenities that I would like, and then I will argue to the death that it is the best possible. So
yeah, I'm there and beyond you, Michelle.
Absolutely. Anyway, when you're booking your Walt Disney World trip, a lot of people book a package from the UK where you get your aeroplane, you get your hotel, and you get your park tickets as a bundle. However, a lot of our overseas family friends book the hotel and then possibly drive to Walt Disney World, or maybe just have a short flight, so they don't tend to do the package route. And again, as we've said before, sometimes our American friends get a better value deal for the resorts, sometimes we do. It's all about checking it out. But what one thing is going to be the same of wherever you are in the world is whether your resort or the resorts in the Disney World whole variety of hotels, what is available for guests, or should we say visitors as well.
Right, okay.
So for some of us, the Disney Resort is just basically a place you sleep, you're nearer to the magic, you don't have to escape the bubble, and you get a sprinkle of Disneyness. But for some people, they actually choose a resort through what they have available and maybe have some time out of the parks to enjoy a wide range of benefits of staying at these hotels. So I thought, wouldn't it be nice to just highlight some of the additional things you can do at a Disney resort that you might not have known you could do there?
Oh, okay. Interesting. Yeah, because I think particularly for us lot coming over from the UK, with it not being a cheap vacation, it's kind of, we probably tend to look at the cheap and cheerful end of the range and think, well, all I need is a bed and a shower type of approach, isn't it?
Yeah.
But if you've got the moolah to spend,
absolutely,
then what else is going to pique your interest?
But some of these things are free, and if you want to visit a resort, you can do.
Very true, yeah.
So the first one I'm going to go to is the Animal Kingdom Lodge, and for me, being able to stay there via DVC points a fair few years ago now was an absolutely amazing experience. It was a beautiful room. We were overlooking the savannah, so we had giraffes outside our window. It was amazing, and you can literally go over to the resort and there is a viewing area out to that said savannah.
You know what? It's one of the resorts that I've not been to.
Wow, Jen, next trip.
I know. I'm just trying to think why I haven't been out there.
Because it's a pain in the bottom to get to.
That'll be it, won't it? Yeah.
Yeah. For me personally, I find the best way to do Animal Kingdom Lodge is to go to Animal Kingdom, get there well before opening, smash out everything, and then take a bus over to the lodge and spend some time wandering around, maybe get something to eat, because they do have 2 fantastic restaurants there if you like the buffet type of things and are adventurous with your food. There is the wonderful Boma, or there is Jiko, where you can go and have a really high-end, beautifully flavoured meal. But there's also Sanaa and that amazing bread service. Plus, again, they have animal views from the restaurant. Now, if you do not know your animals very well, you can go to the reception and ask them for an animal spotting guide, and that is completely free.
Nice one for the kiddywinks.
Absolutely. Now, okay, at these deluxe resorts, you're not going to be able to get access to the swimming pool unless you are a guest, but there are other things you can do. I love to go and just wander around the food court, wander around the gift shop, because particularly with the Animal Kingdom Lodge, there are unique items just to that shop. I am talking about zebra domes.
Food would come into it somewhere.
And if you are partial to Baileys, this is a beautifully Baileys flavoured truffle, and they are amazing. Now, you can also get them if you eat at Boma, but when you bear in mind you're probably going to be spending, with tax and tip, at least $70 per person for an evening meal, you can go get a nice little takeaway tub with 3 or 4 in it for a lot less price.
And then go and find somewhere lovely to sit in the grounds.
Perfect. So yeah, Animal Kingdom Lodge, I think if you've never been, do go. And you can also wander around the lobby, and it is like a museum because there's so many original artefacts from all of the different African countries that the Imagineers went to when they were researching this particular resort.
Yeah. Very
Jane,
cool.
you need to do it.
It's on my list. I'm writing it down as we speak.
Now, not everybody has got that kind of budget. Maybe you're at Pop Century or All Stars. Most resorts, and I believe it is every resort, do s'mores roasting on a daily basis or a couple of times a week. This is really important that when you check in, you check your resort's timetable, because they tend to do all sorts of things like the s'mores roasting, movies under the star. I remember staying at the Wilderness Lodge and you could go tie-dye a t-shirt.
Yeah, we had a thing with the kids when they were younger at Port Orleans French Quarter, where there was a whole baking and they got to decorate a cookie, and they got little chef hats to wear and little chef jacket things as well. So yeah, there's all sorts of different bits and bobs, all free of charge as well.
Yeah. Unfortunately, some of these things haven't come back since before COVID, and it is a real shame because there were some really cool little bits and pieces you could do. But I'm now going to take you over to the Wilderness Lodge, Jane and I's favourite resort, and you can go to the front desk and do the Wonders of the Lodge tour for free. And it happens Wednesday to Sunday at 9 a.m. And a lovely cast member will tour you around the property and explain some of the amazing artefacts. Again, it's so rich in these beautiful artefacts, and they will explain to you all about them. And I do believe they go down to the Carrollwood Pacific Room, where there are so many little nods and links to Walt's love of trains. If you've never been there, I highly recommend it.
Yeah, definitely worth checking out. I wish I'd known about this because when we ended up staying at the Wilderness Lodge, it wasn't particularly planned because we had the upgrade. And so I do feel like I need to go back to experience it all properly, with lots of knowledge behind me.
Yeah. And Wilderness Lodge, if you're at the Magic Kingdom, I personally can't recommend highly enough is getting on a little boat launch over to the lodge, having some time wandering round. There are 2 quick service eateries there that are both really, really good. There's the Roaring Fork and then there is Geyser Grill. Both of those offer fantastic value. One of the most generously portioned meals I had on my Christmas trip was at the Roaring Fork. There was just so much food, I couldn't eat it.
And you say it's not a long journey to go from the Magic Kingdom out to the Wilderness Lodge or any of the other, Magic Kingdom area hotels, and just have that meal away from the hustle and bustle of the theme park and then return later on.
Yeah, I think sometimes that little break enhances your day because you get to the point just after lunch and you literally want to kill people because they're all over, the queues are horrific, the weather's hot, it's not very nice, and getting out and having a better value meal elsewhere rather than in the theme park is something I can't do anything but praise. But thinking also about this tour, I do recall historically you were able to go up to the roof and take part in a daily flag lifting and dropping ceremony. Now, please correct me if I'm wrong, people. I do believe this has not come back, and I believe it was due to health and safety and not COVID.
Yes, I think I have the same sort of recall around that as you, Michelle. But I mean, just talking about those ones that haven't returned post-COVID, we're 4 years out now. Come on, guys. It'd be nice to get some of those things back because it's those little finishing touches that give Disney those extra plus points, isn't it?
Jane, they're not managing to clean value rooms daily yet.
Yeah, that needs sorting out. Come on, guys. Let's get the game back on.
Talking of things not coming back, and I know for people who know me, I love a good beignet. Well, Port Orleans French Quarter has the most amazing collection of different types of beignets you can get. Pre-COVID, they used to do something called the Beignet Dash. Have you heard about this, Jane?
I am familiar with 2 words being smushed together in a sentence, and that's about as much as I know.
For a small price, you were able to get a little sort of route planned map, and there were signs out and you could dash around it, and then at the end you would get a celebratory stack of your own little beignets.
Tempting.
But it's not back yet, as far as I'm aware anyway.
Oh, well, if anybody knows different, let us know. But like I said before, come on, Disney, let's get back in the game.
So some more different fantastic things you might want to do. Now this one absolutely blew my socks off, Jane.
Okay.
You know those pontoon boats?
Yes.
That you can hire from a lot of the different hotels.
Yeah.
That are attached to a marina. Well, you can actually go to one of them and you can hire a Sun Tracker pontoon boat which seats up to 10 guests.
Right.
It's $49 per half hour.
That's not too shabby at all, is it?
For 10 guests.
Split it out, it's kind of,
Nothing. I can't believe it. It sounds absolutely fantastic. Drivers must be at least 18 years old and they will request to see a valid driver's licence, a state-issued ID, so us in the UK probably would be our passport, or military ID to rent the boat.
Which is fair enough. You need somebody that's kind of half competent to navigate the way around.
Yeah. You don't need a reservation. You can just turn up at the marina.
Nice.
So that's good. Rentals are on a first come first served. You are not allowed to smoke while you are on board. And you must wear the complimentary life jackets for all guests under the age of 12.
Sensible.
Yeah, a precaution, because, you never know. Something could happen. I'd be more worried. I wouldn't be so much worried about the drowning. I'd be more worried about what's in the water.
I'm going to say gators and things, yeah.
Bacteria. That reminds me about that lady that was found on the old Instagram topless swimming. Yes, the other week.
In the waters around Port Orleans, Riverside. Not quite sure why you'd want to do that, but...
No. So I would really love to do this. I think that would be a lot of fun for an hour just to have a little jaunt around in a boat. I've never driven a boat. It'll be fantastic.
I've just got visions of you now, stood on the quayside, trying to gather people around you, going, "Come on, we need to go to make it nice and cheap for us." There's only me and Tom. We need 8 others. Who are we going to cajole into coming on this boat with us? This complete mad English woman just harassing passers-by, saying, "Get on a boat with me."
It'll be like an apprentice challenge, won't it? Where I go around and try and sell a ticket on my $98 1-hour boat ride. I will entertain you with total useless facts about Disney. It's only going to cost you $10 a piece.
In a Yorkshire accent, which probably will mean that there'll be an awful lot of translation having to happen as well.
Unless I speak like Hyacinth Bouquet.
There'll be still translation issues, you believe me.
Probably. Anyway, your marina locations are Bay Lake Tower, Disney's Beach Club, the Disney Contemporary Resort, the Grand Floridian Resort, Disney's Yacht Club, and the Grand Floridian. So there we are. Hopefully
Nice.
I might have persuaded some of you to try that. But what if you are a little bit more adventurous, Jane, and want to burn some calories at the same time as seeing different parts of the resort?
This sounds like exercise. Go on.
It does. How about renting a canoe?
Oh, okay. A bit of upper body strength, right?
Absolutely. Okay. You can rent these over at Fort Wilderness Resort and Campground. $15 an hour.
That's not bad at all.
That is really good. Again, no reservation. It's first come, first served. You've got to have your ID because you must be over 18 years of age. Now, a parent or guardian over the age of 18 can sign for a minor who is 12 and up to rent a canoe on their own. Again, no smoking. You do have to wear a life jacket. So
I want to wear a life jacket,
Now, during peak times of the year, only resort hotel guests or guests with dining or recreation reservations may be allowed to enter the resort. Just so that keep that in mind.
Yeah, makes sense, doesn't it, when it's busy, yeah.
Yeah, but I thought that was super fun. But if you don't fancy a waterborne activity, how about bikes?
Yeah, you could do bikes. There's quite a few places do bikes, isn't there?
Yeah, on the boardwalk you can get those Surrey bikes.
Of course, yeah.
Or there are 5 rental locations where you can get a 2-wheeled bicycle for 2.
Okay.
Old Key West, Port Orleans, Saratoga Springs, the cabins at Fort Wilderness, and the campsites at Fort Wilderness.
Nice. I have done a bike.
Ooh.
Around Port Orleans, yeah. And I have photographic and video evidence to prove that I went on a bike. And I don't really like biking at all. I'm probably the only one in our family that doesn't, but I have the evidence of me on a bike at Port Orleans.
The plus point is, Jane, it is relatively flat.
Yes. There wasn't an awful lot of effort involved. I can remember that much.
Yeah. I'd prefer a tandem, and I'd just sit on the back and just watch the person up front say, "Are you pedalling? Are you pedalling? Of course I am, love. Of course I am. Yeah. Can't you see the sweat dripping down my face?"
They always freak me out, though, tandems. I don't know how they work. Well, I know how they work, but it's like, yeah.
Well, I saw on the way to work the other day, obviously the 2 children's dad, but then there was 2 more seats behind, so it was like a thingy, but you can't call it a tricycle because that's a 3-wheeled bike, so it was like a tandem for 3.
Cute.
Yeah, very cute. Anyway, this is between $9 and $20, tax not included, and it sounds a lot of fun, particularly I think if you're over at Wilderness Resort and the scenery there is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. No, and like we said with all of these shows, it's just something a little bit different to do, isn't it? And if you're wanting that little bit of respite from the busyness of the park, especially if you're there in a busy season, and you just think, I just wanted a little bit of an escape from the crowds for a little while, then, this could fill half an hour or so, couldn't it? Just give you that bit of break.
Yeah, absolutely. How about something that isn't as exerting, but is still sporty?
Okay.
Fort Wilderness Archery Experience.
Bit more dangerous though.
It is a bit more dangerous. However, it's a class, so you're not going to be left on your own.
Right, thank goodness for that.
So this is over at the Bike Barn at Fort Wilderness Resort. Archery guides are going to be there to teach guests of 7 or above how to use a compound bow, and then lots of target practice. And it's a 75-minute experience to practice. The class sizes are up to 10 guests, and I think that is, it's $49 per person, tax not included. Now, I don't think that is ridiculously expensive.
Well, no, I was going to say exactly the same as you, Michelle. That for a 75-minute class, that's not bad going at all.
Now, with this one, it's saying advance reservations are highly recommended. There's a 24-hour cancellation policy. Walk-ups are available if there is space, and family and friends who don't want to do but want to watch, i.e. record it and picture it, can do from a safe distance. So that to me is fab, but just bear in mind with anything to do with Fort Wilderness, you actually have to get the bus to the resort, and then you're going to take either the yellow or orange bus line to the Bike Barn. So please factor all of that in, because it does take a little bit of a time to get there.
Yeah, perhaps you might want to choose to spend a good portion of your day there to actually soak up the resort, the area as well.
Yeah. Two more.
Okay.
Horse-drawn carriage ride. Now, that is available at quite a few resorts. I have seen it so many times when I've been at Port Orleans and fancied it and never done it.
No, me neither.
And then again, over at Fort Wilderness, you can do the wagon ride.
Oh, of course. Yes, I forgot about those.
So that's something to look into. And then the last one is over at the water parks. I'm not quite sure which one actually does it. It's either Blizzard Beach or Typhoon Lagoon, but you can have a surfing lesson in the wave pool before the park opens.
I didn't know about that.
That sounds to me a lot of fun. However, me on a surfboard in a tidal condition, I don't think so.
Yeah, my balance and coordination isn't that good, but I know my moles would be well up for that.
Yeah, well, maybe that is something to help Molly and Dan agree to go on a Walt Disney World trip with you, because I've just mentioned some activities I know they would both adore.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. But in all seriousness now, Michelle, doesn't this just prove that the whole image of people going, oh, Disney World, it's just Mickey Mouse, it's just theme parks. Actually, yes, they are there, but it is so much more if you're prepared to just look beyond the end of your nose and do a little bit of research beforehand and look at all this plethora of things that we've just talked about that perhaps people hadn't even realised was a possibility, let alone being offered.
Yeah. One thing I think that would be fantastic, possibly over at Fort Wilderness, how about a seasonal ice skating rink?
Ooh. Well, the temperatures that they've had this past winter, they could get away with it, couldn't they? Because it hasn't been the warmest of winters from what I've seen. So,
One way we can definitely guarantee that Molly and Dan will be on that plane sat right next to you.
Yeah, the only problem is that I'll never get them off the ice rink. So,
Well, that way Simon can enjoy your trip.
It's a bit of an expensive ice skating session though, isn't it?
True. Anyway, lovely listeners, if you've got any more recommendations you would like to share with everybody else who listens to the podcast, you've done something particularly exciting, that is enriching and completely different that you can do out of the theme parks and in the resorts, why not let us know at info@disneydreamgirls.com or via our Disney Dream Girls podcast family page over on Facebook. And you can also catch us at Diz Dream Girls on Instagram. We would love to hear more from you. Anyway, we're going to end this recording right now because we are going to do an after show exclusively for our Patreon supporters. So as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, these wonderful people keep the show advert free. So if you would like extra content, go on over to patreon.com/Disney Dream Girls. But it's a goodbye from me.
And goodbye from me.